From fabulous Las Vegas, Nevada, this is Pod Therapy. Real people, real problems, and real therapists. You can submit your questions anonymously at podtherapy.net or email us at podtherapyguys@gmail.com. We did it! We made it to episode 100! Woo-hoo! Very special episode today. None of us know what's going on.
Except Jim.
Maybe. And now broadcasting from the churn, that guy is Dr. Jim Jobin. I'm Nick Tangeman. It's time for some Pod Therapy.
We did it, man. We're 100 episodes in. We are nearing our second anniversary. What is probably more important, and I think you and I have agreed to this, more than the centennial episode, more than reaching 100, to us it's the calendar, because we do about 52 episodes a year. And so our second anniversary is really when we start season 3. That's whenever we wrap up and we launch into season 3. So we're at the end of season 2, but we've hit our 100th episode. So we've come a long damn way, Nick.
We have.
Congratulations.
50 episode seasons.
Yeah, we have seasons.
Yeah. We do seasons.
Yeah, this way we can keep track.
I can't remember what I said, but in the first episode of this season, I had made a prediction of what was going to happen.
Oh,
and I have to go back. And
in
look
season
at that.
2,
Yeah,
you're like
in
upcoming
season 2.
in this season, season 2. It's going to be all this
I
stuff.
can't remember what I said. I'm going to have to go back and look that up.
But it's fun. I mean, think back over memory lane in season 2. We had some changes we wanted to do to it. We wanted to be more techniques focused in A blocks. Because in season 1, I think we did a lot more studies. Mm-hmm. And so in season 2, we wanted to really bring in techniques, which I think we did. And we wanted to have a lot more guests. In season 2, we have tons of guests. I mean, really interesting people. We had Lori Gottlieb, who turned into this huge success. Like she just gave a TED Talk. I don't know if you saw that.
I didn't see that.
Yeah, she got to give a TED Talk. Like the real ones, not the TEDx.
Oh, that's
She's
cool.
doing real TED Talks. And she was on like Ellen. She was on Good Morning America. She is one of the New York Times bestsellers of the year.
And
She's
it
in
all
the top
started
5
right
books.
here
And
at
it
Pod
all
Therapy?
started here. All of it. 100% of her success is because of us.
There are going to be people out there who disagree.
Yeah,
but
conspiracy
everybody
theorists.
is entitled to their opinion.
Yeah, not your own facts.
Right.
And the facts are that in the order of events, she happened here first. Did she write a few other books before she met us? Yeah, whatever. Yeah. But no, we had a great year. We had great people come on, and we'll talk more about that as we kind of do our season 3 launch and our reflection. We do our gift exchange and all that fun stuff that's coming up. But here for the 100th episode, I thought it would be fun in our A block to kind of be playful and do some goofing off. And so one of the things we did whenever we launched season 2 and we did our first anniversary was we played the Newlywed Game. And I still want to do something like that as we think about our next anniversary and the next. And I destroyed you. I just want the record to show. I absolutely wrecked you in my ability to know you as a person way better than you know me, which broke my heart. Broke my heart.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, you beat me, I think, by 1 or 2.
Yeah.
I wouldn't say that
out
was
of
wrecked.
like 10.
Yeah.
I beat you by like 20%. That's a blowout. But anyway.
Okay.
So for today, what I thought would be kind of a fun like nod to that and continuation of it and something interesting to mark the centennial show, 100 episodes in. I went through a dating game box and I pulled out a deck of cards which are designed to help couples talk.
Oh my God.
And it has little fun hypothetical questions that just kind of get it going. So I've lit all these candles and turned the lights off around us, and I poured you a glass of wine, and here we are.
Yeah, here we are.
Celebrating 100. Yeah, you're looking good, Dan.
Yeah.
I just want to say
The bearskin rug was a unique
well, come
touch.
sit next to me. Feels really nice too. Feel that? That's the bear. Don't worry. Yeah, it's still alive.
That's the bear?
It's alive. I'm not a poacher, Nick. This show is PETA friendly. But he's a lovable bear.
Yeah.
Jacob, in the community of lovers, are you considered a bear? Is a bear anybody that has like the full beard?
Are you asking me about the homosexual?
I don't think he knows
I think that's
what
what a bear is, isn't it?
No.
Bear is a person with a beard.
No.
A bear. A bear is a lot bigger than I am.
What's a bear?
A
well,
bear
I
is
know
like,
what an animal bear is.
No, a bear is like a big hairy dude,
Oh.
but big.
Oh, okay.
If
It's like a
any-
lumberjack.
I
That's a
believe
bear.
if anything, I am an otter.
What is an otter?
And like a smaller bear.
So we're just all okay. So all men are just compared to animals, and this is how they're clarified. I thought a bear was a dude with a beard. So there's a full
Like
beard.
a real big dude.
Yeah. Okay.
I don't think
Anyway.
I don't think I'm big enough to be a bear. One of my favorite memories from Broadway touring was we shared a giant. We go to check into our hotel one time. The hotel was hosting the National Bear Convention.
No.
It was called Hibernation.
Oh.
That's perfect.
High Bear Nation.
Oh, that's fantastic.
So like we walk
Hibernation.
in and in the huge lobby. This is a giant convention hotel, I think in St. Louis. In the huge lobby, there is a giant gay pride flag.
Oh, wow.
But all of the colors were changed so that they were like kind of a woodsier
they're
version
rustic.
of that color. And then like if you picture a flag where the stars would be on the American flag, there was a square there with a huge bear paw.
Oh, that's fantastic.
It was
That's
great.
Brilliant.
And
That's fantastic.
When they found out that we were like, this is great.
Yeah.
And then the whole convention, I mean, there were thousands of people at this convention. The whole convention found out that a Broadway show was also staying at their hotel.
Oh, when
They were fucking over the moon.
this
It was
is
great.
it. This is the best weekend ever.
Yeah.
That's fantastic. Well, now I know. So
That's
the more
cool.
you know. But yeah,
right.
so a romantic little afternoon here with you, Nick, where I thought we would work on our couples skills. And got a deck of cards, couples spontaneous discussion cards. And these have been given to Jacob, who I feel is the most responsible to select from among the cards what our questions will be.
Do I just pick any card here?
Pick any card, yeah.
Okay.
And so you could pick either of us and ask us a question on the card, and we'll just reflect. It'll be funsies.
All right. Nick, if your partner was an obvious racist, what would you do?
Yeah.
This is a reference
That's
to
a
the
tough one.
Patreon of episode 98.
98.
I want to
This is a reference to life.
just Jim is just a racist. Jim is
All right.
just a racist.
All right, Jim, then. If your partner was to go on a reality show, which one do you think it would be?
I think he would go on one of those home renovation shows. I could see you doing that.
Oh.
I could see you being like really interested in like all their tips and like, yeah, then I could rip out this wall and like it would have something to do with like tools and like building shit. I could see you doing
I would picture Nick going on like The Amazing Race.
racist.
One of those type of
Racist.
things. Because he's a racist.
Amazing.
Oh,
race.
that's
The Amazing
true.
Racist.
You know what? Actually, I want to change my
That's
answer.
a reality show that I watched.
That's a show. The Amazing
The
Racist.
Amazing Racist.
Who can be the most racist across the country? Just going from culture to
that's a good
culture,
show.
just hating everybody.
That's a good show.
This week, Leroy goes to Temple. The Amazing Racist on CBS. What is this shit? You know what, though? I could see Nick being on American Ninja Warrior. I could see that.
I thought about that, but I don't think I have I don't think I could do that. But
Yeah.
the Home Improvement show, actually, yeah,
You'd probably be into
would,
that.
I would love to do that.
I could see you doing that.
I
could see that.
had a friend that was on one of those shows.
Oh, really?
Yeah, my friend Nate, back in Iowa, he was living up in Minneapolis, and his it was on HGTV. I can't remember what the show was, but it's essentially when they get somebody out of the house.
Oh, they
one of the- and then
remake it?
They
Oh,
redo,
cool.
and it's kind of a surprise.
Uh-huh.
So he owned a restaurant,
And
and
they redid it, remodeled
No,
it?
but he sold the restaurant to go with her to school, so
Oh.
she could finish up her PhD
Oh, okay.
or doctorate or whatever. I can't remember. So as a thank you, she
Renovated the house.
renovated the kitchen.
Oh, that's cool.
And so they got him out of the house for a while, and
Yeah.
then they.
I could see
rebuilt
you
the
being
kitchen and
cool
all
with that.
Yeah.
That show would be wasted on me.
I
I'd
wanna-
walk in and not remember what my house looked like before you did that.
Yeah.
It's like, oh,
I want
this is-
everybody to rewind their podcast for just a moment and just listen to Nick try to tell that story and listen to Jim keep trying to jump in and like complete a thought, and he's not right a single time.
He does that all the time. I'm glad we're doing this couples thing because this is something that we need to talk about.
Okay, if we had the Jacob life coach jingle right now, we'd be playing it. He'd be a couples therapist. That's the chicken dance. That's about right.
That would be good. Yeah.
All right, that's Nick one.
Okay.
Your partner is alone in Vegas for a night. Describe what you think he or she does with his or her time. I guess it's just he and his.
I live here.
I believe Jim has pronouns that
Yeah.
he has accepted.
You're right.
We're here every week.
Okay, well, let's assume you don't live here, or let's assume you're going to another.
Okay, yeah.
Hey, he's
party
out on the
city.
town.
He's out on the
Yeah,
town.
a man about town.
I picture you going to a really nice restaurant, like an Applebee's. Probably winding up someplace at just a kind of a sit down bar, probably with a TV someplace.
Okay. I
can,
would like, you know where I would like to go? If left to my own devices and I could do whatever I wanted, I would go to that Double Helix Whiskey and Wine Lounge at Town Square.
Double Helix is great.
Yeah.
Is it good?
Yeah.
Oh,
I used to go there all the time. I still go there every now and then, but I used to go there all the time. They have a fantastic whiskey selection.
That looks so cool.
They
I've
have
never even been in there.
They have one of the two best whiskey selections for a bar in town.
Really?
Yeah.
Where would you say is the other competitor?
There's a place in Bellagio that
Oh, okay.
also has a
But
really good.
at that level, like,
Yeah.
it's as good as the whiskey place in Bellagio.
Yeah.
That is really, I'd probably go there.
They have a lot of
That'd be a
really
fun night.
high end and
I
rare
could see
whiskeys.
that. I could see that.
That would be a
Because
really fun night.
I don't picture you as a cigar lounge person. Otherwise, I would say
I
that.
have been to a cigar lounge. I do not care for the way you can never escape that scent. Like, you have to burn those clothes.
Yeah,
after you go there.
It's on you forever. But
Yes.
yeah,
And
Double Helix does do cigars, but they have an outdoor patio
fine.
for the cigars.
That's perfect. And actually, that's the only situation I would want a cigar in, is if I could have like some really good whiskey. That sounds so good. So that sounds like, actually went on a date last night, and we talked about going to that place, but we ended up going to Hearthstone at the Red Rock. It's really nice. Good food.
Take the wife to Double Helix, because they also, aside from really great whiskeys, they have a fantastic wine selection as well, and they also have wonderful food.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh.
They have surprisingly good food, like really good,
gone.
like a like a charcuterie plate,
Perfect.
cheeses.
There you go.
Really, really great stuff.
And then you're in Town Square, so even if you, wrap up, you can just putz around. So a man about town, that's probably what I would
There you
do.
go.
But your Applebee's hypothesis, also not wrong. I mean, that did sound really good. There's an Applebee's somewhere near me. I would go. I think I would definitely go. So yeah, good answer. I think you're not very far away.
Here we go. Here's a good one. Jim, if you and your partner were to go on a week-long road trip adventure, how quickly do you think Nick would kill himself?
I think I'd get through 2 states.
Where do you think your partner would want to go?
I'll tell you where he'd want to go. I know that he would probably... Nick likes nature. If it's a road trip, so I'm assuming we can't wheels up, no airplanes. Otherwise, he'd pick like some exotic place. He'd be like, let's go to Greece or something.
You literally have North and South America that you can play with here.
Oh, because we could go up to Canada. I don't think you'd do that. I don't think he would suffer me that long. That's a long-ass drive. I think the most he would go is probably... I could see you doing like Utah and wanting to do like let's putz through or Yosemite. I could see you saying, hey, let's go up to Yosemite. We'll drive through the park, or Yellowstone. Let's just go do an outdoor trek and just do walks and that kind of shit. I could see you want to do that. I don't know. Is that about right? Is that what you would do on a road trip?
I suppose. Sounds about right.
Yeah. Outdoorsy dude. Building houses, climbing rocks.
Yep.
Sharpening sticks, that kind of thing. That's what you're into. Yep. Where would you go on a road trip, Jacob?
Sorry, I wasn't listening. I don't know. Road trip. I do love Yosemite.
Yosemite's awesome.
Interestingly enough, I don't know.
I mean,
really don't
the
know.
West is a beautiful area.
Yeah.
I mean, there's so much nature.
You can go anywhere.
Yeah, you want to go to.
It's not. I'm not saying I don't know because I don't want to go anywhere. It's just like there's so many options that
I think if you're doing a road trip, yeah. I think back in like college days, growing up in Vegas, it was like, let's go on a road trip to San Diego. That was always where you want to go, or Havasu. Let's go do like a weekend there, and like that was really cool. But now I'm an old man. Like I just want to go see pretty things outside, and that's it. I'm not trying to party.
I get it.
Doesn't work for me.
All right.
Let's see. Whose turn is it?
Next question.
Next question. All right. Here we go. If your partner had $1 million to spend in 24 hours, do you think that he would be able to spend it? And describe.
I don't think he'd have any problem at all saying that.
But how would he
burn
do
through it? Where would $1 million go?
I think
Jim Jobin had $1 million in 24 hours. It's like Brewster's Millions.
It wouldn't. I don't know what it is. I don't know exactly what you do with
$30
it.
million that he had to spend in a week.
Yeah, and it was like a week or something. I love the part where he buys a stamp.
That's a great movie.
Yeah.
And then just mails it.
Yeah, and then just mails that.
Yeah.
And then he runs a political campaign, don't vote for me.
Yeah.
It's a great
I don't know
movie.
what
Richard Pryor,
I
great
don't know
movie.
what Jim would do with it, but I know it wouldn't be exciting.
Okay.
It would be, and what
Would
I mean
or-
by that,
would or wouldn't?
would not.
Okay.
It would be something that would be like, oh, okay, that's a good investment.
Fine.
It would be,
Yeah.
it would be something like that.
I'd
It would-
probably put it into like
Yeah, it would-
IBM.
All right, all right, let's alter the question a little bit.
Okay.
Let's make it Brewster's Millions rules.
You gotta. Oh, there
Where
you go.
you have to, the money has to be gone.
You
It
can't
can't be invested.
invest
It can't be anything like that.
And you can have no material
you can't have
possession to
anything
show for it. You got to be penniless at the end of the
Oh.
experiment.
Yeah, so let's make it Brewster's Millions
24
rules.
hours.
Oh.
You got to blow through $1 million. Nothing left over. You got to be penniless.
Yeah.
Shirt on your
Oh,
back.
man.
Which, by the way,
That's hard to do.
I could do this easily.
What would you do?
I mean, I could just in the city that we live in.
Oh yeah.
I could just go out and
go play
and
craps.
burn. Forget gambling. I could just burn through $1 million without gambling.
That's
Yeah.
true.
Because gambling, you might get something back. You
Also,
might accidentally get something back.
The entertainment, I think.
Yeah.
It's,
yeah,
it's
yeah,
probably hard
yeah.
to eat $1 million in this town on entertainment. I think that'd be pretty damn hard. Even if you VIP'd your way through, I mean, 24 hours. Give yourself a week. Give yourself a month. I think it'd be really hard. You know,
I
to
think
eat
you
through-
need to loosen
I
up your
think-
definition of entertainment.
He's got a point.
I think, I could see a chunk of that probably going to like seeing every show
Yes.
in Vegas that you could.
I would. Yeah.
The most
in
VIP
The most
way
VIP.
that you possibly
yeah.
could.
I want to sit on the
Probably
stage.
rent a limo. You'd have
Yeah.
you would get some way.
You get all the
fancy
extra services.
of getting there and
I'd
getting
get an
home.
entourage. I think that would be fun. To go,
Finding
you know
other
what?
people to spend money on is a real easy way to.
I feel like
really
it
easy
is.
way to
Yeah.
spend money.
I would
true.
love that. That would actually be really fun. If I just had stupid FU money and my goal was to actually get rid of it, getting an entourage and being able to walk through like cool places like the Bellagio or go into clubs and like, oh God, you could go broke just getting table
Right.
service at Hakkasan.
Yeah.
Just do that. Yeah, $1 million, you won't get through the night.
So
yeah.
you see all these things about people spending like $50,000, $100,000
Oh.
at these at the nightclubs.
Yeah, without batting an eye. You know, the guys that come in from like Dubai, like they own the club by the end of the night.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's insane. They're
Oh,
tipping $100,000.
now that I think about that, yeah, I think I could definitely picture with an entourage.
Yep.
Just people that you would pay
Just to walk around
to
and
walk
admire
around.
me.
Yeah, no, because then you're drawing the attention of everybody else.
Yes.
It's like, who is that guy?
Who's
he
this
must
guy?
be famous. 'cause
Yes.
he's got an entourage.
You know, there was a kid that tried this. He cashed in his life savings. He hired a whole bunch of people to give him a day as a celebrity. And basically had an entourage, and he created this whole setting where like he pulled up in like this wonderful car and paparazzi and press were there. And his goal was to see if he could convince enough bystanders and press
To
that he
actually
was a big
become-
deal. And then he created this whole fiction about who
Yeah.
he was, and that was the whole go. And it worked. He got on Good Morning America.
Sure.
And he basically tried to turn it into a TV show pitch. And that was his whole bit, is he wanted to call it 15 Minutes of Fame, and he was going to be like, I just want to do this for other people. I want to help people enjoy their 15 minutes of fame.
That sounds
It's almost a
that
good
sounds
idea.
kind of horrible.
Yeah, almost catchy. Didn't work out. He
Also,
blew
like-
his life savings on it.
Wow.
It seems like the next day is terrible.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, you're just broke. And that was fun. Nobody cares. Everybody figured
Right.
out that you're nobody. Yeah.
Well, and like, by the definition of that, like your 15 minutes are up.
You're done. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
That sounds kind of horrible.
What's ahead of you now?
Yeah.
Nothing.
Yeah.
Wow, this got dark.
All right.
Hold me, Nick.
Next question.
Let's see. If you had to choose a movie role for your partner, what kind of role would it be, and what genre of movie?
I think you'd make a good like Jason Statham character.
You
I think
mean
that
I need subtitles?
Yeah. Like nobody would understand a goddamn word that you're saying.
That pisses me off with his movies.
Oh, yeah.
I have to turn the volume up so much
Just to understand
And I'm
what he
like,
said.
I have no idea what he's talking about.
I think that if I could pick a role for you, not because of like you're a manly man, so it's like Jason Statham or Bruce Willis, but they have very limited acting abilities. They just kind of scowl, and things happen and blow up, and then they just run. And I feel like you
Yeah.
have the cardio to run.
Yeah, I can. I
to
can
be filmed running.
I can run from fire.
I think
I feel
you can
like
do
it's kind of cruel that you just lumped Bruce Willis in there. Just,
Bruce
You
is
were just
listening to
like-
this like, fuck you, Jim.
Bruce Willis is a good
I have an
actor.
Oscar. What have you done?
He is a good actor.
He is a good actor.
I could see you as like a kind of an action star. I could see that. I think that you could run, jump, climb trees, that kind of thing. Starve yourself for a week and then do the one shot like Hugh Jackman, where it just ripped out of your skull, and then there you go, and then little claws pop out. That's it. Yeah. That's your whole show. Yeah,
that'd be fine.
I'd
be fine with that.
Hollywood, give us a call.
Yeah,
we'll whore Nick out to you.
All right, Nick, choose a profession for Jim that is the opposite of what they do now. Something that you think
therapy.
I knew you were gonna fucking say it. I fucking knew it.
You should have listened to the second part of the question.
Oh shit! All right, what's the second part?
Something that you think they would be really good at.
Yeah. Oh yeah. No.
Never mind. I want to take that answer back. You had to pick an alternate career for me that I would be good at. What would it be?
Golf caddy for celebrities.
I would kill.
You ever hear that story?
Oh, that I caddied? Or, attempted.
For Kevin Costner?
Yeah, fuck that. I pissed off Kevin Costner within 30 seconds of meeting him.
I was going to say, you want your caddy to not really talk that much.
Yeah. Nobody told me that.
Yeah.
I definitely broke the first rule of Caddyshack.
Is Kevin Costner?
Yeah.
Kevin Costner?
First off, not knowing who the celebrity is, off to a really bad start. So, I'm holding his bag, and it says K. Costner, and I'm, gathering the group to get them ready to go. And I'm like, is there a K. Costner here? K. Costner? And, all of them are just looking at him, and then he is looking at me, and he's got sunglasses on. I remember he just took them off, and he just stared at me. And I just oblivious.
Still
I have no idea what's going on.
It's kind of a douche.
I'm thinking maybe the guy doesn't hear me. And I'm like, are you K. Costner, sir? Are you Mr. Costner? He's like, yeah. Kevin Costner. And I just stare at him blankly because I'm just so nervous because I don't know what I don't know. I don't realize it. And then, you could see, the little neurons connecting in my brain and, smoke coming out of my ears. And I'm like, Are you the dude from Waterworld?
Waterworld.
That was
out
the
of
one
all
I
the
picked.
movies.
That was the one. And then he was pissed because that was his fucking failure.
Tell me that was at least the one that was in theaters at that moment.
No.
Also, The Postman, much worse than Waterworld.
Yeah, it was bad. So then he was just pissed, and I got a sternly worded lecture.
Something you would be good at other than therapy.
I don't know what my other job would be.
What's another job that involves a lot of talking?
Well, see, I would say a teacher, but you've already done that.
I did that, yeah. Did not like, would not recommend. 1 out of 5 stars. I would like that. I think I'd do okay.
Oh, I think you'd...
Professor?
Yeah.
I could do, go speak teach at a university.
Game show host.
Dude, sign me up. I want Drew Carey's job.
Yeah.
That's what I want.
Final answer. Game show host.
Yeah, okay. I'll take that action.
Yeah.
I don't know if I'd be good at it, but I'll take
Do you want Jim to be dying of pancreatic cancer?
That was definitely Alex Trebek. And he's going to be okay.
Apparently, Pat Sajak is sick now, too.
Yeah, I heard about that.
Something like Vanna White is hosting some Wheel of Fortune shows.
Oh, wow, because he's not doing well.
Yeah.
Get well soon, Pat.
Jim, when you met, what do you think was Nick's very first thought about you?
Okay, hold on. I'll tell you right now. I know it. And I'm pretty sure this is still his thought every time I walk in the room. I'm pretty fucking confident. So what actually the very first...
This guy's here.
This guy. I can't believe this guy's still employed. I think that was his first thought. No, but the very first time I ever met Nick, we didn't even interact. We both worked at a different company. This is way back, WestCare. Yeah. And we were at a training. And it was just a big room of people in a training, and we sat in general proximity to each other, never spoke a word to each other, just in the room. But I remember you had an Iowa lanyard. And I remember thinking, wow, that guy's from Iowa. I've never met a person from Iowa that lives in Las Vegas. And I remember thinking that. I just remember thinking, that's Iowa guy. That. And then fast forward, we eventually, I think, really actually met. I don't think in our time at WestCare.
No, we did.
I walked into your office once at Duncan.
Yep.
And I don't remember why. Was it related to Dual Success at that time?
No.
So I didn't know that you were leaving yet.
No.
Under what conditions would I have to meet with you?
You didn't. You happened to be on campus, and you wanted to just introduce yourself.
Okay. That sounds like me. Okay. What was your first thought? Wait, was the
I think
question
you need to guess.
Okay.
What
the fuck is this guy talking to me? Why are you talking to me? Yeah. Who are you, and why are you here? That's probably But I would have said, hey, I'm Jim from the mountain. I'm up here at Mount Charleston. Which, in fairness, in the culture of our company at the time, it was considered totally normal for anybody who worked on the mountain to introduce themselves to anybody else, because we were in Siberia.
Yeah.
So that was all by itself a cause for a handshake to be like, hi, I'm Jim from Mount Charleston. And that was very normal to go, oh, okay, great. Now I know that there's a guy up there. Like, cool. Like, that was a normal thing to say. But then I think after that, the first time we ever really connected, you had left the company, you were working for a competitor. I was going to leave the company, join that competitor, and work in your shop. And before I accepted the offer, I called you. And I called you from Mount Charleston because the company that interviewed me gave me your number and said, you talked to Nick. And I asked you all about the project and stuff, and you were telling me about it. And that was our first actual real, I think,
See, I don't even remember that.
Great.
Yeah.
Great.
No, my first
this is why you lose the newlywed game.
My first impression when you introduced yourself in my office.
Yeah.
Because you just seemed way too excited for the situation.
That sounds right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then it came off very disingenuous.
Yeah. Yeah. That's
and
brand.
My first
my brand.
my first instinct was, so
what's this guy up to?
What? Yeah. What do you need from me?
What do you want?
I felt like I was being solicited for something.
You were.
Yeah.
And I didn't
know
get
it
it
at the time.
You didn't notice when I closed the door behind me? I walked into your office.
Yeah.
Seemed really enthusiastic to meet you.
So, yeah.
Are you Nick from Iowa? Hi, I'm Jim. Well, yeah. So that sounds about right. I think that's most people's first impression is, what do you want?
Yep.
This guy is
pretty much
unbelievably enthusiastic.
Yeah.
It feels like it's not true.
Yep.
But no, I really am.
I felt like I was buying a car.
That's fair. Yeah. that's about right.
Ooh, car salesman.
No, I'm actually a therapist.
Oh, damn, I didn't think about that one.
Used
As a
car
profession.
salesman.
Yeah.
Oh.
God, I dread that. Having to live in that world. Ugh. That's actually my hell job, is anything having to do with sales. Because I've done it. I've worked in like retail. Oh, the quotas and like you got to get it done. It's just the stress. Like, oh my gosh, you always have to be on. That's intense. So I don't think I would do good at that.
Okay, one more.
Yep, last one.
Oh shit, last one. I've got 10 lined up in front of me. Nick, pick a number 1 through 10.
7.
That's the right choice.
Let's see. Oh, this is a bad one. Pick a number 1 through 9.
3.
Which habit of yours do you think your partner finds most annoying?
Oh, there are so many. So many.
I think you can both answer this one.
Okay. So, of Nick's habits that are very annoying, Nick cannot do a podcast without putting shit in his mouth. He just took a drink. He always, and it can't just be he has a drink that is okay for doing a pod. You can't just have a drink with a straw. He's got to have a metal container with like a screw-on cap that you've got to like take off. A lot of times it'll have ice and like that'll chunk around. Then he'll have to choose something and eat something while we're doing the show. And this has been my complaint for years. For years, since the first episode. This is always something going on. You go back to season 1 and hear me bitch about it. So yeah, that is consistently something. And it doesn't matter however much I bitch, however much I complain.
No, it doesn't.
He still does it. And I'll tell you what I do that annoys him. I'll tell you right now. I know.
Okay, the question is, which habit of yours does your partner find the most annoying?
Oh, sorry. I kind of turned that into a fucking attack. The thing I do...
Nick, would you like to answer the question?
What do you do that I find annoying, Nick?
I think we got it. I think I'm done.
I think I know what I do that pisses you off.
I have a guess.
I think,
or 8.
I think you get upset that I don't interrupt you enough on the show.
Yeah.
I think you
I
wish
get really upset
that I would jump in.
How furious I get when I reach the end of my sentence. It irritates me so much.
That's probably my guess. I think that's probably the thing.
Right.
It's up there. It's up top 3.
Yeah. Or the opposite of that.
Okay.
Yeah.
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 That's the one.
There
It's
we go.
Being interrupted too often. Yeah, I wish you would have kept up with afterthoughts and just called it complete sentences.
Yeah, I should have.
This is just where Nick finishes his idea, and then there's a pause.
Yeah. That's it.
And there's a beat that happens. Well, good job, Nick. And happy 100. It's
Likewise.
exciting.
Hope that was worth it for everybody.
I think that's what they've been waiting for.
Yeah, I'm
Centennial
sure.
episode. Got to do something a little different. newlywed game. And stay tuned because as we approach season 3's launch and this will be our second anniversary. So we'll celebrate our second anniversary and then kick off season 3. But if you want to write in questions, last year we invited people to send us personal questions about us, just life stuff, instead of the typical questions about, clinical stuff. And lots of people did, and it was really fun. And you're welcome to do that again through the typical channels, through our Twitter, through our Facebook, through Gmail, PodTherapyGuys at Gmail, or at podtherapy.net. You can go just submit them anonymously. It's fine. And we'll start collecting those and gathering those for our upcoming anniversary episode, which will be the first week of January.
Exactly.
Happy 100, Nick.
Happy 100. All right, we're going to take a quick break, and when we come back, we will discuss how to enjoy my job. You're listening to Pod Therapy.
This week's Producer sponsor is Nathan's Hot Dog Scoop, also known as the Norwegian Hound. Nathan is a medium-sized breed of dog from Norway. It was bred by Wilhelm Dunker to be a scent hound by crossing a Russian Harlequin hound with dependable Norwegian scent hounds. The Nathan has a clean, noble, long head with parallel planes of the skull and muzzle, carried low and not wedge-shaped. Its skull is slightly domed with a defined stop and clean cheeks. The muzzle is long and square-cut with a straight and broad nasal bridge, and its teeth are evenly spaced with a scissors bite. The Nathan has a black nose with wide nostrils, round, large, dark eyes, low-set, wide, flat ears that hang close to the head and to the middle of the muzzle. If you'd like to join Nathan's Hot Dog Scoop, you can go to www.patreon.com/therapy and sign up. Again, that's patreon.com/therapy.
Okay, we're back. You're listening to Pod Therapy. Our next question, how to enjoy my job.
Hi guys, long-time listener, first-time writer. Jim mentioned a while back that when he found a particular song that he liked, he would put it on loop for hours or even days. I do the same thing. Last year I listened to a Christmas song until February. So, Jim, don't feel too bad about this. Here's my issue. A couple of years ago, I switched careers. I was in a corporate environment and a job that I knew inside and out, where I was relatively content. That was okay, but I tried to go into junior or middle management for years with no success. After some thought and talking it over with the missus, I went back to college and became an elementary teacher, kindergarten to grade 6. Finding a full-time job is difficult, particularly with the budget cuts the government announced in Ontario. Oh, this person's Canadian. And I have been limited to supply work. I get calls a couple of days a week when a classroom teacher can't make it, and sometimes my commute is enough to play multiple episodes of Pod Therapy and Ice Cream Social. The money is not great. I make about 60% of what I did at my old job, and if it wasn't for my wife, who's also a teacher, I would be broke and would have gone back to the office life a long time ago. I don't want to tell her that I wasted $40,000 in tuition and countless hours to go to school for a job that is not fulfilling. I've mentioned some of my struggles, and she says it will be different once I'm hired on a full-time basis and have my own classroom. Could a therapist help me like this new job, or would they try to talk me into following what makes me happier and going back to what I used to do? Thank you for what you guys do. It's helped me through some stuff in the past, and believe it or not, I've actually used some of it in classrooms when student behavior is not ideal. I'll wait to hear what you guys have to say while I listen to Trans-Siberian Orchestra's Old City Bar for the 117th time this week, and it's only Thursday. Yours truly, Coffee Maple Scoop.
Okay.
That's a good question.
That is a good question. So here's my take on that. It really kind of depends on what modality the therapist is using, but I would say for the most part, it's probably safe to say that most therapists are not going to push you one way or the other. What they're going to do is they're going to figure out where you're at and what direction you're already going, and may support and come alongside that, may also challenge. But ultimately, I always imagine good therapy as being the therapist in the passenger seat of the car, not in the driver's seat.
Yeah.
I think the client is in the driver's seat. And I think what a good therapist does is a good therapist is able to find a person's motivation and be able to kind of slowly bring that to the surface and be able to discuss it. I don't think a good therapist is going to direct you one way or the other.
Yeah, I think that's almost entirely the case. But, this comes back to what I'm actually hearing in your letter. Maple Scoop is Maple Coffee Scoop.
Coffee Maple.
Coffee, whatever. Whoever the hell you are. Listen, Canada. First off, enough with the French. No, but I think that the thing you have to realize here, writer, you're not yet doing the job, right? You're not getting the full experience of what it is you trained to do. And I think that is one of the most emotionally difficult things a person can go through. I went through something similar for a number of years where, and I don't talk about this a lot on the show because I don't find it to be relevant or to be my truth anymore. But originally, I went to school for religion. Okay, so I did a bachelor's degree in religion. I taught during those years. So I ended up teaching for like 7.5 years. I didn't want to teach for 7.5 years. I finally left teaching when I finished my master's, and then I got into mental health. But for the first half of those years before I got into a master's program, I had done my bachelor's because I desired to work at a church. I just wanted to go work at a church. I wanted to be like a youth pastor and just help people, that made sense to me, and, be part of the church and help run it. I interviewed at probably 30 different churches, different states, different places. Nobody would ever hire me. There was never an opening. It was always just something just outside of my grasp. Got so close it never panned out. And so I was working a job in the meantime as a teacher that was not authentically my truth. It was not the version of events that I was looking for, and it didn't feel like this is what I went to school for, this is what I studied for, this is who I authentically am. And so that is a very deep, stinging existential problem. And Nick and I think we've seen this with a lot of people. We've seen a lot of people go to college and rack up big student loans. It's one of the things the writer's talking about, $40,000 of debt. And then to feel like, well, crap, did I make a mistake? Did I pick a profession that's unavailable? Have I ruined myself or whatever? And I guess the thing that I would talk to a person about in that kind of mentality is lean in. Don't make big decisions based on where you're at right now. I consider you in the lobby of your final destination. You're not in your career yet because there's not been an availability. You're in that paying dues portion of the career where you're like starting out, trying to just get lots of foot in the door experience, waiting for a job to open. And I think your wife is right. This is what you studied. It is the thing you pivoted toward. You've brought intention to it. It's a vocation. It's a profession. And I think that once you're allowed to do it fully, you'll find that you like it. I don't see anything in the letter that speaks to, I don't like this job. I got into it and realized, oh my God, I hate teaching. Even though he says it's unpleasant. I don't like this. I'm broke, I would be completely broke and I'm just in a waiting game. I get the feeling that you went and studied this and now you're doing it because you would like to do this. But being a sub teacher is crap. It's all of the bad side about being a teacher, dealing with kids, being harassed, trying to keep up with schedules, without any of the authority, the permanence, or the ability to control your own environment. It is the worst possible gig. Yeah. So I relate to
or
you
the
about
regular
not getting
paycheck.
Yeah, or even the paycheck or the bennies. The whole dang point is the benefits. And so, you don't get any of that. You don't get the summer break, if that's what you guys do in Canada. You don't get any of the holidays that are paid vacations. So, yeah, you're frustrated. Yeah. But, in real teaching world, it's also a job that's very taxing on a lot of people. My wife's still a teacher. Very hard. You don't meet a lot of folks who stay in that career forever.
Yeah.
It's a very taxing job.
Yeah, I think just the lifestyle currently, right now, the way it is very unstable.
Yes.
So there's a lot of that going on that I think can be very difficult. If you choose to go into therapy, if that's something you think might be helpful, there are some things that maybe a therapist could help with as far as creating some kind of stability in your life and being able to identify maybe some thinking patterns that lead to I don't want to say unhealthy, not helpful emotions, possibly.
Fair.
Some, maybe some things that we can look at with that. But yeah, overall, I would agree with Jim.
I think that talking to a therapist, in this case, writer, there's value in it because I think it allows you to explore and understand two things. One, what do you want for your life? And which directions are available to you that are likely to lead that. It's nice to have this unbiased person that you can kind of reflect with, who's intelligent and able to kind of explore these thoughts and your truth. And the second thing I think you might explore is the current emotional struggle that you're in. You're playing this waiting game, your pride's on the line, you want to move forward in life, you're feeling stuck, you're not sure what to make of the situation you've been dealt. And I think anytime a person is stuck in what I teasingly on the show have called the Barstow space, which is on the way but not there of where you're trying to go in life, that is so frustrating and so existential. And like I said, I relate to you because I felt that for a long time in my life where I was just stuck in Barstow and I was going nowhere. It's a hard space to be, and I think that a therapist can probably help you sort that out.
Oh, being stuck in Barstow for any period of time
Is
just sounds
terrible.
horrible.
It's a horrible idea. So physically, metaphorically, figuratively, Barstow is the Spirit Airlines of towns.
Do they fly out of there? Maybe they do.
They probably do.
It's their hub.
That is their major hub. Oh, Spirit, I hope you don't do me dirty.
By the time this episode airs, we will know.
We will know.
We will
Yeah.
know if Jim got to.
If you're
Florida.
hearing this episode and you're like, did Jim ever make it? How did that go? To my Twitter. Go to @SinCityShrink, and you can find out if I made it. So, well, it'll be how you know.
All right. Yeah, we come to the end of our show. Oh, wait, we've got one more commercial we have to do.
We'll jump into the end after that.
Hold on. Let me. Where am I at? Oh, yeah. Okay, we're going to take a quick break. When we come back, we're going to end the show. You're listening to Pod Therapy.
This week's Theraproducer sponsor is Dr. Ben Don. Ben is a small dog breed of terrier type developed during the 19th century in Yorkshire, England. Ideally, his maximum size is 7 pounds.
True.
A popular companion dog, the Ben Don has also been part of the development of other breeds, such as the Silky Terrier. It has a gray, black, and tan coat, and the breed's nickname is Dorky. The breed comes from 3 different dogs, a male named Old Crab, a female named Kitty, and another female whose name is not known. The Paisley Terrier is a smaller version of the Skye Terrier that was bred for a beautiful long silky coat, also figured into the early dog breed. If you'd like to join Dr. Ben Don and make this episode possible, you can go to www.patreon.com/therapy and sign up for as low as $1. Again, that's patreon.com/therapy.
I've known Ben for several years, and he does have a very nice, soft, shiny, silky coat.
I think so. Yeah, I've never met him, but from what you've described, definitely that's the first impression you get of Ben.
Absolutely.
He's got a great coat. So we're at the end of the show. Real quick, we've got some, here in our 100th episode, I thought we'd read a couple of pieces of fan mail. Hey guys, I just wanted to drop you a line and let you know I appreciate the work you're doing with the podcast. I've gone to therapy in the past, learned all the tricks of the CBT trade, and it's helped a ton. And it's also super helpful to listen to you guys break it down week after week as a kind of booster shot. In particular, it's been very helpful to listen to Jim's journey this month. Oh, he's talking about October. Mm-hmm. Earlier this year, I had successfully modified my diet and lost 25 pounds, coming within 5 pounds of my goal weight. But then I went on vacation and backslid 5 pounds over the course of a few months. Listening to the podcast was the kick I needed to get back to the fundamentals and reestablish my healthy eating habits. It's also especially helpful to hear from Jim's perspective. It really brings light to the fact that behavioral modification is hard, even for trained professionals. But with a mindful approach, it's possible. The bits about relapsing and reframing failure were of particular value for me. Anyway, thank you again for everything you guys do. Jim, I really hope you keep it up, and I'd love to hear future updates on the show. Cheers, James.
All right. Awesome. Thank you, James.
Yeah, I haven't added any more weight, so I'm still in the same ballpark, but
rock on.
Not declining as fast as I used to, but definitely kept the weight off. So
okay.
Also, here in the 100th episode, a quick little recap. We have, as of today, 32 reviews on Apple iTunes. We have an average rating of 4.7 stars, Nick. I don't know if you knew that.
Seems high.
Out of 100?
Seems high. Yeah, we do have 1-star reviews on there. I did notice them.
Do we?
Yes.
Oh, those are the ones we should read.
I know, right? They don't write things. They just hit the button. Oh, shit. Jacob's already starting to type. Damn it. There it goes.
How do I find this?
He's furiously starting to type. But we did have a newer review on iTunes. It was from Chelsea Saracen. She said, I love me some Therapy Thursdays. Nick and Jim have an amazing show. Their podcast is truly something special. The way they can connect to their audience with a pre-recorded episode is incredible. You don't need to start at episode 1 either. Yeah, and in fact, we highly recommend that you don't. You can just pick and choose shows to listen to based on the content without feeling like you missed something, which makes the show less intimidating. Sometimes when looking for a new podcast, the backlog of episodes can be overwhelming. But with Pod Therapy's format, it's such an easy listen, there's no need to start at episode 1, although I'm sure you will eventually listen to them all. I just can't get enough of Pod Therapy, and it is by far the most anticipated podcast of my week. Thanks, guys, for being so awesome. Thank you so
Thank
much.
you.
That was lovely. And we also got a new review on Facebook where we actually have all 5 stars, I will point out. This is from Amanda Cassie. She said, I've binge listened to them for 2 weeks now. It's funny, it's honest, and you'll walk away learning something. I've been using this to ease back into counseling, and it's been comforting. They do a great job getting through basic struggles and creating goals. Also, did I mention these guys are pretty funny? Downside, I haven't found the Facebook cult page to join.
We haven't started
Facebook.com/PodTherapy, but it's
Yeah.
not very culty.
Yeah, they didn't write a review for 1 star. Somebody just
Just hit the
like
button.
Jim said, just clicked on.
Oh,
1
I would
star,
have read
2
it.
star.
I would have read it. I read it that one time that I got hate mail. I get a lot of hate mail, but there was one time when somebody said, I'm not listening to the show anymore. And it was specifically because we talked too much about fantasy football. Which,
that was a
speaking of which-
YouTube review. I
was it
believe.
a YouTube
Yeah,
comment?
Yeah, I saw that too.
Speaking of which, Dan Martin is, as we're recording this, which is way in the past from when you're hearing it, Dan is playing Leon.
Yes.
And Leon is 9-1.
It is
Dan is 1-9.
Absolutely the game of the season.
Dude, I am rooting for Dan. I am rooting for him so hard, even though it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
It's like that part of Saving Private Ryan where Tom Hanks is firing a pistol at a tank.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's just laying there, dying, like a tank is just rolling over him. He's like, pew! Like, that is what's happening with Leon Kassab's Juggernaut. So... also, this is the first episode of December, so we need to thank a bunch of folks who have joined the party. As we just mentioned, we are taping this from the past, so we may leave some names out, but we also want to thank all of our THERAPODs. We want to thank Adam Rybisknik in there, Brad Kiefaver, Brooks Lyle, Chelsea Saracen, who also wrote us that lovely review, Corey McTits, Craig Little, Creamer Jean, Curtis Kiwi Scoop Hanlon, Don Dorr, Elliot H. Lamb, Easy Whip, Fred Bashara Jr., Gavin Bristow, Heather Psychotic Scoop Crace, Ian Whitefall, James Cole, Jessica Vint, a.k.a. Scoopy Jess, Jim Hunter, Joseph Pengrazio, Carrie Terhark, a.k.a. Nick's sister, Kate Keller, who's also the author of the Pod Therapy comic, Katie Chiwalkowski, I'm pretty damn close on that one, Kenneth Liu, Kenneth Soto, Lori Eltzroth, Linda Brandmeier, Lindsay Bashara, Manuela Musakyu, Matthew Nair, Malaya, Okie Scoop, Peter Van Pelt, Richard Bruins, who sent me these awesome cookies that I'm still munching on, Robert Paulson, Scoopaholic, Scoopiter Ascending, Scoopstronaut, Shayla Bullock, Stacy 49th, Frozen 49th Scoop, Terrible Monkey Scoop, and Tracy Replogle, a.k.a. my mom. I want to thank the pterodactyls. Hi, Mom.
Yeah, pterodactyls, thank you. Thank you, Andrea Anderson, Brian Lehman, Crazy Manzana Scoop, Dan Martin, David Pollock, Ice Blue Scoop, Leon Kassab, Tom Morrison, and Cindy Ash. Thank you.
A special thank you to Crazy Manzana Scoop and Cindy Ash. Both of them have actually upped to $15. We don't have a level for this yet, so we'll just acknowledge that you are some awesome blend of pterodactyl and theropod, whatever the hell that is.
And I'd like to thank Jim's mom for not turning into a cloud of steam, entering my room in the night, and sucking the blood from my neck.
Thanks, Mom. It's funny because last night she called and we were talking. She goes, hey, I just want to let you know, like, I love listening to the show. I'm like, thanks, Mom. And like, I'm waiting for her to like bring this up. And she goes, but I wanted to talk to you about something. And I'm like, okay, yeah, here it comes. And she goes, I made you lots of costumes whenever you were a kid for Halloween. You said I only made the Spider-Man costume. I made you a pumpkin. And she's like going through it. She's like, one time you were a chick maggot and I taped Barbies to you. And I was like, okay. And she's like, so, you know, tell everybody that because I was a good mom. I'm like, okay, Mom. Yeah. Like, she still has no idea. She's all the way back.
On behalf of Pod Therapy, we definitely apologize for that.
Yeah, specifically. That and only that as the one thing.
Please don't flap your leathery wings at us in anger.
Or transform.
Sorry, Jim's mom.
We especially want to thank our bosses, the Elite Eight, the mysterious and shrouded Illuminati members of our fan club, the Thera producers. Thank you, Smitty Scoop. Thanks, Jake Schneider, Robert Brownie Jr. Mint, who's the chairman of the board, Kayla Lansbury, David Data Scoop Violon, Judy Schneider, Nathan's Hot Dog Scoop, Dr. Ben Dawn, and ex-officio board member Ellie O'Dare.
If you'd like to hear this episode uncut and unedited and enjoy our spontaneous projects, go to patreon.com/therapy, and thank you for supporting mental health.
That's all the time that we've got for this week's session. We want to thank our landlords, the Ice Cream Social Podcast, and thanks to those of you who contributed to our show today. We really appreciate it. Remember, Pod Therapy isn't something you should keep all to yourself. Share this episode with someone who needs it by opening the episode's description in your podcast app and copying and pasting the link provided into your social media. Don't forget, you can find us at facebook.com/podtherapy, on Twitter at PodTherapyGuys, and at patreon.com/therapy.
Do you want to submit a question to the show? Ask anonymously at podtherapy.net or email us at podtherapyguys@gmail.com. I'm Nick Tanchman.
I'm Jim Jobin.
Thanks, and we'll see you for your appointment next week.
Happy 100!